Welcome to the Everyday Leader podcast, where conversations inspire action, growth, and impact. Hosted by two passionate leaders, Shannon and Conrad, this podcast is for those who strive to lead with purpose and integrity in their life. Whether you're navigating big decisions, seeking balance, or dreaming of creating change, we're here to help explore the tools, stories, and insights that help everyday leaders thrive. Join us each episode as we dive into the art of leadership at work, at home, and in the world. Because leadership isn't a title, it's a way of being.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast for Everyday Leaders. Shannon and Conrad here to talk about a topic. And Shannon has the topic today.
I do, because I've been thinking more around what we were talking about 2 weeks ago, and that is AI. Remember our conversation about AI?
I do remember. What I remember about it is that it was big, or it is big, and we were sitting with a lot of questions, are the two things I remember.
Yes, we were sitting with a lot of questions. So the additional piece to that's sort of emerged for me in continuing to think about this, and also just noticing how much AI, the conversation around AI is in our world right now, is that underlying all of this is this like feeling of pressure and having to move fast, right? Like this technology is moving fast and is advancing. AI has a big impact. Will have an even greater impact. We got to figure it out. Like just a lot of pressure around that.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing this in. Had a conversation with my friend this morning who is a leader in a large organization doing high level, meaningful work, and got an email that came in from one of their founders, and with this kind of energy of pressure and pushing, as you're saying, is like, hey, what are we doing around this topic of AI? And the impact that had on my friend, who's a leader in this organization, as well as their colleagues at a executive level leadership positions, both of them. Initially, it was like to be reactive and like, oh, we got to get this. Like maybe we can use the AI to answer this AI question, and so I could feel. I didn't name it at the time, but I could feel the pressure, the anxiousness, the like, let's get this done immediately, right now, even though we don't know exactly what we're doing. And I feel like I'm saying that in this moment, it's like, oh, wow, that's the impact. One of the impacts this is having.
Yes, and you're kind of expanding the context a little bit, which is important. It's real, because also in this landscape is not just AI and emergent technology, but also, an unstable political environment, and in the world that I work in, and actually even in private sector, a lot of shifts in how money flows, whether it be funding or investment or whatever it is. So there's lots of factors in this landscape. But
Yeah.
this our conversation around AI really kicked this into gear for me around pressure and thinking a lot about how do decision makers. I spoke to a group of social impact entrepreneurs this morning. How do you make decisions in a leadership stance, right? How do you make decisions when you're under so much pressure? What is the leadership skill? What is the behavior? What is the tool? Like, what do you do? Because like you just experienced, there's a lot of reaction.
Yeah. So yes, I love this, where we're looking how to make decisions in the heat of the moment under pressure, uh, with AI and, as you said, funding shifting, this hyper vigilant, hyper speed world. How, as a leader, do I make decisions? Hmm.
I have some ideas.
Yes, there's some bubbling here. I'd love you go and I'll blend.
Well, we mentioned this in our last episode, and the first is to slow down. So I want to say that again. I think the first is to slow down. And then the second, and this is something that we've talked about before, is to get into some kind of shape, partnership, container, meeting, whatever it might look like, where you feel like there is some good potential for discernment over knee-jerk reactions or decisions.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Get into a relationship that generates discernment, and what that looks like is a space, a container, a group to really start asking the question, what is the root of what we're trying to solve? Is this
Mm-hmm.
our decision? Is the time right? Is this our decision? Whose decision is this? Getting into some what we call basic filtering questions to get to the core in
Mm-hmm.
collaboration.
Yes.
Because the last thing you want is loneliness, hopelessness. I'm on my own and making this decision. Now we know
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of individual contributors and folks out there that are entrepreneurs that are like, I have that feeling. It is that way, and it's partially that way. Getting into relationship with others can help with discernment.
Yes. So even when you are on your own, you don't have to go alone. It does take a little bit more. It does take effort in identifying who are those people who can be,
Mhm.
be with you as you're in discernment. It's not like you can just step out of your office and into a conference room and there you go. There are your people. But that's it, right? Find a way, get some collaboration going, get in relationship.
Yeah, yeah. So to recap so far, pause or slow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pausing and slowing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Two, get into relationship, partnership. Step two. Then step three, create a space for discernment and collaboration and really filtering and sorting out um, what this is about.
Yes. And I liked how you offered that there are just some basic things we want to be sure everyone understands together, right? What is this decision? What is it about? Why is it important? What's the time frame for it? Who's going to make this decision, right? Some of those basics just around the decision itself. And then the sort of the test, I guess, I offered today was around being able to discern sort of three key areas. So what is the
Mm.
thing that you're up to, right? Allowing the thing that you're up to, whatever that thing is, to come into view and say, all right, what is that problem, that gap that we are working to solve? What is the thing we
Mhm,
want to fix? What's the work that we're doing? What is the need
mhm,
for that, right? And then looking at and what are our principles or our values around how we want to be doing that? What are
mhm,
we
mhm,
willing to, what are we unwilling to compromise? That's kind of like the principles, right? And then the third piece is, and then what's the landscape? And being really clear
uh,
about what the constraints are. And maybe, um, and this is where I think that collaboration is helpful, get some ground truthing on what's real about those constraints. Maybe they're real, maybe they're not real, maybe they've been inflated somehow, right? So getting some real
mhm,
clarity around what is the actual influence of the landscape on this decision. And the idea isn't that you have this balance between all of these different pieces, right? Where the
mhm,
decision that you make is going to be in support of the need and your principles. And also with the landscape, it's that you've gone through the process of asking these questions in collaboration so that whatever
Wow.
decision you make is coherent.
Love that. Love that. So it's even just drawing as you're talking, it's like a funnel at the top. And what's
Mhm.
this really about? Kind of circling that and asking those discerning questions, simple questions, then moving down into, I think you said principles, but like, what's our operating system, values, principles, purpose
Yeah.
on how we solve these type things, and then filtering down even more into that landscape slash constraints, external, internal, what is really true, what is doable, what is it time for today, not 3 days from now or 3 days ago. And then finally, the other piece I'd just like to blend in and add, Shannon, maybe you have this, but whose decision is this?
Yeah. That was kind of at the top, right? Like what
Oh
is
yeah,
the
okay,
yeah.
yeah, like who's,
How
yeah,
do we
good.
how do we action on this? Right?
Yeah, yeah, because it's like, is it ours? Is it someone else? Do we need other resources? Good, cool.
Yeah. So that's it. I think that's the leadership work that that's really been on my mind these past couple days. The leadership work around asking the questions and making decisions that have this that have had this thoughtfulness and this coherence around them, knowing that, you know, we are probably always going to feel like we are having to compromise something. And it's just important to know, what are we compromising? And
Mhm.
doing that with some thoughtfulness, and also not doing it alone. So
Yeah,
yeah, the work is in the questions.
yeah, yeah, and it works in the questions, and just appreciating the slow, get in relationship, do the work in the questions, follow this pattern, and that will yield or relieve pressure so that you
Hmm.
can move.
Yeah. And here, like this just in is, if you're not a decision maker, you're on the outside of a decision, or
Mm,
you're in a company or an organization and you know decisions are being made and you feel like it's moving too slow, or you feel like they're moving too fast. Oftentimes we feel like our leaders are moving too slow.
mhm.
The inquiry I want to offer is not so much, are is their pace right? It's more about, are they asking the right questions?
Mm, beautiful.
And are they asking the right questions with the right people?
Yeah. Mm. Awesome. Well, thanks for bringing this, Shannon. And another thread or outcome of AI. And I'm sure we'll have more learning. And I'm just appreciate you naming the impact, one of the impacts the AI is having, and then looking for ways to adapt to this world as it
Yeah.
moves.
Great. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for listening.
See you next time. Be well.